Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, Tear is here once again, even though SnowiKs is limited. I wanted to try out Tear with the new limitation to SnowiKs, and let me tell you, it does matter. Not all that much, but it does matter a bit. So I'm going to quickly do the card by card and the explanation, and all of that. However, I do want to say, I played for like 3 streams in a row, like 10 hours of gameplay, before playing Tear. Bunch of different decks, couldn't get out of Diamond 5. None of my games were fun, none of them were interesting, they were all super boring, and people were playing really boring decks. As soon as I switched to Tear, it was super fun, bunch of very good, interesting games. Every single game was entertaining and like back and forth, and there was like, nuance to it. Even the losses were fun. Like, I don't know what it is. Tear is just the most fun deck right now. It still is. It will continue to be. This deck is insanely fun. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. But yeah, here is the list that I played. Honestly, there are a few things that I would change, which I'll talk about at the end. But yeah, here is the quick list, and I'm going to do the card by card. Starting off with the Tears, we're maxing out on them. 2 Merly, 2 Sheeran, 2 Havness, 2 Rhino Heart, triple Scream, the 1 SnowiKs, the 1 Crime, and the 1 Tearlament. Yeah, that's basically it. A lot of people have also been playing things like Grief, or Heartbeat, or Meta Noise. Honestly, I don't even find those worth it. Heartbeat, maybe just to out, like, I don't know, back row, Necro Valleys, or Dimensional Fissures, or what have you. Or honestly, yeah, you could probably throw this one in, and I would probably do that instead of Foolish Burial Goods, or what have you. But honestly, yeah, not really all that big of a deal. I'm also playing King of the Swamp, as well as Polymerization. They're limited to 1, but I was like, hey, why not, like, throw them in here? Honestly, they're kind of bad. Like, these 3 are the most cuttable of the cards. Just hands down, no questions asked. They're so very cuttable. However, Polymerization does give, like, some pseudo plays, but most of the time it was just a brick. King of the Swamp was nice, but most of the time, again, it was just a brick. It was like, even milling it, I was like, who cares? Like, it kind of helps, but most of the time you just have enough to go with your tier plays anyway, so it's not like you need an additional monster to go into that isn't, a tier. So there's that. As for the rest of the cards, we're maxing out on the Ishizus as well. The 1 Keldo, the 1 Mudora, the double Kelbeck, and the 1 Agido. Pretty simple there. We're also playing a whole bunch of a few Bystials. 1 Magnemite, 1 Druiswarm, and 2 Baldrake. Baldrake happens to be the best one here because of the dark attributes here, allowing you access to like additional banishes and stuff like that. Baldrake's effect very rarely comes up for its actual on-field effect, but it does happen to have the best on-field effect besides the Magnemite. So there's that. We're playing 2 of those. As for the rest of the cards, the rest are just basic tech cards. The triple Maxi, the triple Ash Blossom. Honestly, you could probably cut an Ash for like triple tack or something like that. Yeah, triple tack is obviously something else in here. This is obviously not like a defined hard list. There are still things that I would change. For example, I'm not playing Diviner in this list, but Diviner of Herald is absolutely goated. So there's that. We're also playing the 1 Snow. Snow is just absolutely insane. Yeah, this card's dumb. Even in a 40-card list, it's still dumb. It just does everything. It's a good normal summon. It's a good special summon from Grave. It threatens like a million different things. It's, stall. It's yada yada. It's great. Yeah. Moving on, we have the 1 Foolish Burial Goods to dump SnowiKs, even though it's limited to 1. Hey, maybe you can get it and trigger that as well. You could also dump, like, Scream off of it as well, which is pretty nice. Yeah, there's that. We're also playing, of course, the triple Super Polymerization. Super Poly is absolutely busted right now. I don't think there is a single deck that can deal with the fact that Super Polymerization into something like a Garura or Mudragon is available. I don't think that there is a single deck that, like, has an end board that doesn't play into that. Very few. I can think of like 1 maybe, and it's no, even that. Maybe. I was like Tri-Brigade maybe, but more of like a Tri-Brigade Zoo or like just like a raw Tri-Brigade. Not even like Lyralisk Tri-Brigade can play through this because of Garuda. Yeah, this card is really dumb. If you don't know, this card's really dumb, mostly due to the fact that it is a Super Polymerization target that basically every deck plays into. Just 2 of the same type and attribute. Hey, guess what? That's Sprite. That's Tri-Brigade. That's Tier. That's Branded. That's Dragon Link. That's everything. Everything plays into this. It's an absolutely insane card, and it basically gets you a guaranteed free removal. So there you go. I like triple Infip. So we're playing 3 of this. Infip is just really good against everything. It's not really a bad option unless you are playing against back row, which if you are, not really a whole lot that you can do. Honestly, yeah, some back row removal is kind of needed in this. But yeah, Infip is still just absolutely insane. It's good again. It's good against basically everything, especially the top decks. The only thing that it's not the greatest against is like Sprite, maybe. But even against Sprite, it's like, oh, you can negate Sprint, which is very good. You can negate the Gigantic. You can negate a blue if you need to. Like, there are a myriad of things that you can negate with the Infip. You can even hold it and wait for the opponent's turn, in which case then you can go for the negate on Elf before they can bring back something. So there's like a bunch of different things that you can negate with Infip. That's very, very strong. As for the extra deck, we're playing a whole bunch of super poly targets, that being Mud Dragon of the Swamp, Garura, which we can also summon off of our own fusions as well, and then Dragostapelia as well. As for the tiers, it's the 1 Kit, the 1 Rucolos, and the 1 Kaleido. Pretty standard there. As for the Xyz, we're playing the 1 Abyss Dweller. Yeah, this is still a very good card. Occasionally it comes up in tier. Most notably, it's just kind of like an additional card to have in case of that mirror matchup, but it's not necessary in most situations. Then we have Baguska for Maxi and stuff like that. And then, of course, we have the Time Thief Redoer. Redoer is also very good, just given the fact that, like, you know, send Sheeran, you know, or send Rhinoheart or what have you, in order to trigger that, which is very nice. Or you could just also grab, like, a trap from your opponent and then have it be Disruption as well, which is very funny. And then we have Beatrice. Beatrice is not the greatest in here, and the reason for that is because I'm playing such a low count of Bystials. If I was playing more Bystials, it would make more sense to play the Beatrice, because then you can go Garura with like anything. You basically go like a tier monster and a Bystial, you go 2 tier monsters into the Garura. Garura can then go into, or Garura and a Bystial can then go into the Beatrice. Beatrice can then send another name, as well as get the draw off of the Garura, and it's great. And you're off to the races. And then also you can do that during your opponent's turn. You can send a card as well. It's great when it works, but most of the time it's not even available, especially since, again, we only have the 4 of the Bystials, and yeah, we don't really have good targets to like banish. So yeah, just most of the time it never came up, and you could honestly cut it. Obviously, we have the Zeus in here as well. As for the links, we're playing the 1 Dark, the 1 Elf, the 1 Sprint. Sprint is stupid, and the 1 Underworld Goddess. So that's it for the deck. Let's hop into the replays and show you how this deck works. All right, so here we are going first with a unplayable hand. Well, we do have the Super Polymerization as well as the Infip. Hopefully, we can get something off of this. My opponent is going to reveal that they are also on tier. I'm going to negate this Rhinoheart because there isn't really a better target here. And then they activate Grief in the same column because, of course, they do. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. They're going to go for the Foolish Burial, dump the Haveness. I'm like, okay, well, they're off to the races. Doesn't really matter. They're going to go for the Kit here, getting rid of the Rhinoheart, so I can't immediately go for the Super Polymerization. But out comes Kit. They're going to grab the Merly. Merly is then going to be special summoned with the Kit, and they're going to mill 8 and feel great. They don't really hit the greatest things here because they hit 2 Haveness, which they've already used. But alas, out comes the Rhinoheart, out comes the Rucolos as well, and here we go for the Super Polymerization because, hey, I can get rid of the entire field and just summon a Kaleido Heart. So I do that, as well as pitching the Scream. However, Scream doesn't activate. I believe it's because it is not sent to the graveyard by effect or something like that, or because of Super Poly, something along those lines. Not entirely sure, but anyway. We're going to activate the Scream here, and then normal summon Rhinoheart, to the which they will go Ash Sulliak, because of course they have Ash Sulliak. So there's that. We get negated, they get their Kit Kalos, and they get to play the game. So they're going to activate that in order to mill a whole bunch of cards, and they go for the Crime here, they search that off of their Scream, and then they get to put back for Dragostapelia, and I'm like, Dragostapelia, really? Anyway, I attack into the Dragostapelia. They changed the Rhinoheart to level 1 for some reason. I don't know why we don't negate the Kaleido Heart here, but sure. Because here's the thing. If they don't negate the Kaleido Heart, sure, you can negate it with the Sulliak, but like, I guess just level modulation because I'm attacking the Dragostapelia. It's fine. It doesn't really matter all that much. I was just like, that's odd. Anyway. They're going to go and proceed immediately to battle, walk over the Rhinoheart, and just pass. They're going to set the Crime that they searched. And, yeah, at this point, I'm like, interesting. Oh, I draw Perlino, and I go, oh, there is one thing in particular that I can do. Both of these require a tier name in, or on the field, so walk into this guy. Like, yeah, the Kaleido Heart kind of can't do anything off of that, but with Perlino, I basically have full combo, and so that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw the Merly here, and we're going to normal summon the Merly, activate the Merly effect as Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, Scream, and we're going to mill a whole bunch of cards. We hit the Snow, which is very nice. We also hit Rhino Heart, which doesn't do anything, but we did eventually hit the Havness. We also have Mudora, which is pretty nice. I'm going to immediately activate the Mudora here, and the reason for that is because I want to put the Kaleido Heart back. So we're going to shuffle back a few of the other cards, and then shuffle back additional cards for the Kit Colors. Activate the Kit Colors, activate the Perlino here, and we are going to pop the Merly. This is a mistake, realistically. I should just hit Crime or SnowiKs or something like that, but I don't want them to get the search. I don't know the card in hand, so I'm like, yeah, realistically, I should just hit the Crime there, but alas, I don't. Anyway, we grab the Havness here, and we're going to activate the Merly effect in order to shuffle back additional 2 cards, and then go for the Mudragon. I also activate I activate the Kit effect here. They reveal that they have Havness in hand, which is crazy. They just happened to have that. I don't think they searched that off of anything. They just drew it after shuffling it back as well. That was what they drew for turn, which is crazy. Anyway, I activate the Mudragon here. I don't know why, because now my Rhino Heart, which I grab off of this Kit Color or I send or something like that, can now be targeted. So yeah, that was a mistake on my part. I'm going to activate this effect. They're going to go and activate a few of their effects. They activate, or they target back the Rukalos with their Meta Noise, as well as Fusion Summon into their Kit here. They're going to negate my Rhino Heart, but that's fine. I mill Kelback, and I go, I don't really have a great option here, because they do get the Kit Colors here. They have access to that, so they can go for like a Rhino Heart or something like that. So I'm like, okay, I need to hit something here with the Kelback. So I go for the Kelback here, I go for the Scream. They go for the Havness, which they also milled, as well as the Kit Colors. So they're going to fuse using the Kit Colors here, and then go into the Rukalos. I also chain here to the Fusion Summon the Snow, so that when the Snow hits the field, we can put the Rukalos into face-down defense position. But they're going to go for another Fusion here as well, because we milled additional cards. So they're going to go for the Merly here. They're going to Fusion Summon. I'm going to put the Rukalos face it down, as well as go for my own Sheeran here. And the reason that I also went for the Snow is to chain block the Sheeran from the Rukalos. So that's why we did that there as well. We're also playing around with the Crime, so if they wanted to activate the Crime, they could do that now. But alas, like, we're still getting the Fusion Summon, which is exactly what I want. So I tuck that guy face down, and then we go for the Rukalos here. I then actually activate the effect of the Polymerization, and the reason for this is it triggers the Rukalos, and it triggers the Kaleido Heart, which I'm going for here. As well as we now have the ability to trigger the Rhino Heart, pitching this SnowiKs. And SnowiKs not really going to be all too useful in this instance, so this is what I'm going for. I go for the Kaleido Heart. Kaleido Heart effect is then Chainlink 1. We go Chainlink 2, Special Summon. Well, I'll just show you. So we're going to bring out the Kaleido Heart here. Kaleido Heart activate its effect as Chainlink 2. We activated the Rukalos as Chainlink 1, and then the Chainlink 3 is the Rhino Heart for the SnowiKs. Basically chain blocking again to deal with that Crime. Again, I don't know if I should have gotten rid of the SnowiKs or the Crime. I think the SnowiKs is probably more of an issue for me, even though I do have the Mudragon. I am playing with a whole bunch of different attributes, and I do want to use this Mudragon as an Exe if I can. Anyway, we're going to bring back that Rukalos and then search with the SnowiKs to go for the Sheeran. I'm then going to go for the Abyss Dweller, put the Snow into the grave, and then proceed to pass the turn. So at this point, we have the Abyss Dweller, which is probably just going to fetch out that negate from the opponent. And then we have the Rukalos, the Kaleido Heart as well. We have Perlino, we have Scream, we have Mudragon, and Sheeran in hand, which is pretty nice. So it's not crazy, but it's decent. I'm going to immediately activate this Abyss Dweller. They are going to crime that and send their Sheeran. I'm like, that's totally fine. I negate here with the Rukalos. Now, realistically, should I have done that? Hard to say, but I can't really afford for them to go for, like, a Mudragon or something of their own. So I just negate there and prevent them with the Kaleido Heart. They're going to go for the Kit effect here to summon out the Merly, and then go for the Kit to mill a whole bunch, and I get to go for Scream. All I needed to hit, I just needed one hit here, and it was any tier name. Doesn't matter the tier name, any tier name works, any Aqua works. For this card card's effect in particular. So what we get to do is we get to go for the Kaleido Heart here as Chainlink 2, chain blocking the tier name here, and being able to put back that Rukalos, which is very, very strong. And they're kind of out of names, and so at this point, they just concede, realizing, oh crap, I didn't hit anything off of that mill 8, so I just kind of lose the game. Sometimes your mills are just better, and there you go. Perlino is busted. Alright, here we are once again going first, and holy crap, this hand is great. Alright, we're going to activate that Sheeran effect, and we're going to special summon it and pitch the Kelbeck, and then we're going to mill 5 and reveal something? What is, Sprite. Okay, interesting build of Sprite. They're gonna activate the Sarnier, they're gonna activate the Druid Swarm, and I'm like, let's not do that. So I shuffle back my own cards, and we do shuffle back the Perlino as well, and then just put those back. We're gonna search out the SnowiK off of that Scream. Then we're gonna go for the Merly here, and we're gonna special summon out our Rhino Heart, which we happened to mill. Activate the Rhino Heart, activate the SnowiK, grab up Havness, and then mill a Havness. And then I realized, oops, Havness is the one I've already used. Whoops. Anyway, we go for the Redoer here. We're going to activate the Redoer, send the Sheeran, and then go for the kit. It's fine. I fixed it. It's fine. Oh man, I love this deck. And they immediately go for the effect failure. I'm like, interesting. Oh, right, I can make Sprint. So I go for the Sprint here, activate the Merly effect. The Merly effect is then going to shuffle back for the Rukalos. We're just going to go for Rukalos. We have the Havness, we have the Ash Blossom, we have the Sprint, and we get the Redoer back, which is very nice. So we actually have the Sprint that is live, which is pretty good. During the standby phase, I'm going to grab Branded Beast from them. So now I have an additional point of interruption. Redoer can just stack a card onto the top of their deck, which is very, very funny. And seeing as how they're also playing Regained, this is just icing on the top of the cake. They're gonna go for the Bestial Magnemite, and I'm like, that's totally fine. They go normal summon a 2, and I'm like, sure. Realistically, I should have immediately put that back and be like, nah. But out comes the Jet. I forgot that they were playing Sprite because I saw so many Bestials, and I was like, what is it? What are you gonna do? Like, summon a Bestial here? Like, yeah, that's fine. Anyway. They go for the Jet. I go for the Havness. I could have activated a myriad of other things. I just go for the Havness here. And we hit pretty well, you know, a Sheeran and a Rhino Heart. Rhino Heart's not the greatest, but we do hit the Sheeran there. They're going to grab up Smashers. I'm like, that's totally fine. We're going to go for the Sheeran. They're going to go for the Druid Swarm. I'm going to negate with the Rukalos. They're going to go for the Magnemite. I'm going to negate with Crime, turning off their the rest of their cards and sending that Ash to the grave. We're going to pop the Druid Swarm as well, sending our Havness to the grave as well. Out comes Kaleido Heart. We're going to activate the effect of the Kaleido Heart, activate the effect of our Havness in Grave, and then also on top of that, we have the ability to tuck a card and just like put it onto the top of the deck as well with the what is this card? Time Thief Redoer. We also have the ability to just detach it for a bounce with the Sprint. So like, hey, at that point, they kind of can't really do anything. So yeah, that's basically the end of the game. All right, and here we are once again going first. And hey, is that double super polymerization? Anyway, we're gonna go normal summon the, activate Scream, normal summon the Rhino Heart, and then go and mill a whole bunch of cards. We go for the Kelbeck here because I'm feeling twisted. We're gonna activate the Sheeran as well, and just the Sheeran and not the Havness. We're gonna go for the Kit Kalos and then mill 5. And oh no, they're also on a tier. I got very lucky that their mills were not that great, but we do hit the SnowiK and the Crime, which kind of sucks because that means that our Scream is also offline, which is another card that we hit. And the Rhino Heart that we hit doesn't have a search target or a send target, so it's fine. They're gonna go for the Kelbeck here, and I'm like, how much do I care about that? Not at all? Okay, that's fine. We're gonna grab the Sheeran here, as well as the Merly here, and then we're gonna activate the Sheeran effect, to the which they will Ash. And I'm like, oh. Well, set 30 pass. We still have Scream, we still have the Super Polymerization and the Infib, as well as the other Super Polymerization. I don't know why they decided to activate the Maxi now, but okay. Kind of odd. I figured we would have waited till I actually do something, but they were like, well, it could be... I'm sure that they're playing around Super Polymerization, which is... Hey, that's good on them. But, yeah. Out comes Maxi. They're going to mill a whole bunch of cards. They hit... what did they hit? They hit the Sheeran, which they... No, they sent the Rhino Heart from hand, and then they hit the Sheeran as well. So they're going to go for the Rhino Heart and the Sheeran. We're going to mill 3 with the Scream. And, hey, look at that. Agito and Mudora. And I'm like, do I want to activate these? They pitched the SnowiK and grabbed the SnowiK, and I'm like, nah, I don't activate either of them. Scream can't activate. But out comes a whole bunch of monsters. I'm like, great, fantastic. Super Poly. The reason I go for the Super Poly now is because of Dragostapelia. Now, they also just searched the Havness. They just added it to hand here. So out comes the Havness. And I'm like, okay, I need to play around the Havness, so we got to make sure of that. Out comes the Abyss Dweller, and I'm like, okay, that's totally fine. They're going to detach a material to prevent me from using my graveyard. I'm like, okay, that's totally fine. We still have the Super Poly, we still have the Dragastapelia. I'm sure that they don't really have anything. And they go to the battle phase, and I'm like, oh, hey, this has an effect that boosts water monsters, including itself, by 500 if it has a water monster attached. Hey, guess what? I could just negate that, and then I die. And they realize that the game is over at that point and concede. I still had the Super Poly on... I didn't want to use the Super Poly there as well, because I wanted to be able to go normal summon Merly, Scream, Merly, and mill 8, you know, or mill 6. So that was the plan there. But hey, we didn't even need to. We still had the Dragastapelia, and I didn't play into the Havness there, which is why I didn't activate it. So there you go. Good game. Alright, we're back with the deck, and in all honesty, this deck is still incredibly fun, and it's still very good. Is it the best deck? Probably not. I would still say that, like, a mix of tier branded is probably the best. Maybe 60 cards, or something along those lines. I think that's probably somewhere around the best. You still have access to insane plays, like all of the Bestials are still very strong. You have access to all of the tier names as well, which is still very strong. You still have access to Kit, which is also still very strong, and SnowiKs is still around. So there's that. On top of that, I think like a lot of the other decks of the format are also competitive. Now, if you like diverse formats, that's great. Like, this format is incredibly diverse. There are a wide variety of different decks that you can play, from, like, Rika to Tier to Sprite to Tri-Brigade to whatever it may be. There are a myriad of different decks that you can play, combo, control, etc. But that's, I mean, all in all, this deck is still very strong. Now, what are the cards that I would switch? Because obviously I played with this just kind of like, I just threw it together and didn't really think about it, but I think there is a better list that I can make right now, so I'm going to do that and show you what I would realistically play. Alright, so here is the, like, updated list. Again, this is something I threw together a little bit more quickly with some ideas from chat. But Diviner of Herald is absolutely insane. Being able to go normal summon Diviner and either send a Shuffler or a Miller is absolutely insane. It's not exactly the best normal summon, but you can also bring it back off of Elf, which makes it a little bit better, and, like, you know, easier to access and stuff like that for additional follow-up plays. On top of that, I think it's just, like, a decent card to have just in general, and so, yeah, we're playing 2. It means that your normal summons now are, like, there are 7 normal summons. You have the Diviner, the Merly, and the Rhinoheart, which, hey, I think that's pretty good. Normally you want to play like 6 to 7 normal summons, so you could cut a Diviner and instead play like the 3rd Ash, as I cut here. It's just kind of up to you. I also threw in 2 Triple Tack. I think Triple Tack is really, really good right now. It's good, but it's not that good where you want to see it in every hand. Honestly, you could also play this at 1 and play like the 3rd Ash or something like that. But yeah, Triple Tack is really good when it's good and really bad when it's bad. It's either an absolutely dead card that does nothing because your opponent isn't activating monster effects during your main phase, so that you are able to activate this, or it's in auto win because your opponent activated an Ash. You get to now look at their hand and continue playing with perfect knowledge and craft your board accordingly. Very hit or miss. We're still playing the 3 Infip though as well. And then for the extra deck, I cut the Beatrice for Baron. Again, I'm playing less Bestials. If you're playing more Bestials, absolutely keep Beatrice. Beatrice is absolutely insane and absolutely worth it. However, for me, I just think like Baron with Diviner is obviously worth it, and the Beatrice just kind of never really came up in most situations. There just isn't really that good of an option for like the Bestials as well as for the whole Beatrice, like with Garura and stuff like that. It just never really came up all that often. I did also cut the King of the Swamp, the Polymerization, as well as the Foolish Burial Goods. Those just aren't really worth it most of the time. Like, Polymerization is just as dead half of the time as like as like a triple tactic. I would say it's probably even more dead most of the time, mostly due to the fact that like you don't really need additional polymerization targets, so there's that. But it's still not bad. And like King of the Swamp at 1, if it was maybe at 3, yeah, I'd play it, but like it at 1, not really worth it. So yeah, there's that. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy. If you did, I like it very much. So appreciate it. And if you want to check out more content like this, as well as more Yu-Gi-Oh, then just be sure to subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for this.